and huge potential in Turkey stays as a fintech. I will keep it very short because I think we need to continue. If you have any questions, I will be around. And thanks again, thanks for inviting me again. It was really nice to meet great entrepreneurs, investors, and friends here. And finally, it was really good to see Karabakh is Azerbaijan again. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from the audience to Mr. Bayraktar? A very dear name for all Azerbaijanis, by the way. So, thank you very much. Our next guest is from Jordan, Mr. Abedalrhman Habashneh. Yeah, did I pronounce it right? Okay. So, and he's the CEO and founder of Decapolis. So, would you please also share what you are about? I mean, and maybe briefly a path that you have taken to be so successful. Please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the good hospitality from the Azerbaijani government and the ICYF. I'm so glad to be with you here today. And I will start. My name is Abedalrhman, and I work only for 1 year as a full-time job. Then I decided to start my venture. Decapolis is the third one. I started working in the education system. I don't believe that you need investment to build a successful company. So in our first company, it was in education, and we succeed to generate 1 million revenue using business card and website and one consultant as a co-founder in the company. Then my other company, it was in the food. I was managing partner for one of the food factories, and I faced one of the key problems that I face is the consistency with my suppliers. I need to have a good raw material. I was working in the olive oil and the honey sector. There is a lot of fraud in this sector, and there is a lot of critical point. If any mistake happen in this value chain, my product will have a lower quality and I will lose my customer trust. And from that vein, I start discovering how can I solve this problem. I spent 1 year and 8 months in the discovery, try to fix this problem. It was in my factory and the other factories, and also without any funding. So I was looking for the early adopter to try to understand what's their main pain and how can I give a value for them. And I built a quantified value proposition. It was about the product. We know there is a technology can fix this problem, but we don't think about the technology at all. We start with a quantified value proposition in Excel sheet with the 3 factories, and they signed with us that after we will build the product, based on this value proposition, they will pay for us a money. So we raised our first 100K using these 3 contracts. We have 3 customers, but we don't have a product. Even now, we are using blockchain technology, and we develop our solution now, and Decapolis is developing new generation for the food safety and the quality assurance traceability using blockchain technology, where we can validate that all the measurement is happening, and there is a validation rule that validates that you are in compliance with international safety laws. And we start generating revenue from our first operating year. In 2020, we registered the company, and now we are in 2022. The company is get acquired by one of our customers, and they are one of the top 10 food producers in the world, Fresh Del Monte Produce. They acquired 39% of our company with 2 billion business commitment. And now we are operating in Kenya, Nigeria, in UK, Costa Rica, and Jordan. And the main things that we was focusing on in the discovery, because we want to fail fast and to fail cheap, to try to validate the business in any way. Because if I started building a blockchain technology, now we have around 3 million only for the security for the blockchain. So if I was telling my customer, I want to validate my business and I want to have a blockchain technology from the beginning, it's gonna cost me a lot of money. Even the failure will be gonna huge. I will never find an investor who will put money to do this. But once we validate it with the cheapest tool, I start with the Excel sheet, then we start with a normal web. And after we validate that there is a business and the market start like in Q3 in this year, before we did the Del Monte deal, it's a few weeks ago, we closed the deal and we announced it. And in this way, in Q3 in this year, we generate 2.5 million revenue just from the market because they see the value. We focus on the market enabler, the people that when we have a partnership with them, they will create the need for the technology that we have. Such as the retailer. They say, if you have a Decapolis technology and you validate for us, you produce a safe product, we are willing to pay 40 to 200% more than the market price. You can sell your product. And this was big value for the smallholder farmers at the beginning for us. And this is how we validate the case and the company. And that's it briefly.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Please. Could you please pass my microphone?
Please. Here it is.
Now? So it's actually not only a question. First, I have to say thank you to Abedalrhman and for the Decapolis. It's a very inspiring project for all of us. I mean, me as an investor coming from the Middle East, this project is really, really inspiring in all of its truth. Not only in the technical side, but even in the investment side. That Abedalrhman is very, very intelligent, and I have met him before in many events before. So really, really thank you, Abedalrhman, for all the journey that you explained. My question is, what is your negotiation strengths that you helping you convincing your clients, especially in the first days of your great project? What is the sales proposition in the early days, that getting you on the table, negotiating with the big names or big corporates, factories, to convince them using your solution in the very early days. And even now when you approaching or reaching out to corporates abroad, not only in Jordan, not even in the Middle East, you are talking about African big countries like Nigeria or UK, in the other culture, other technological perspectives, with other criteria and the standards. So two questions actually. What is, in the early days, how you convince these people? What puts you on the negotiation strengths? What is the negotiation strengths? The other one, what is your sales strategy now to reach out to these big corporates or big factors in the world? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. Very good questions. So at the beginning, we start through the Chamber of Industry, and we was reading the vision for each company and what's their goals. We watch their TV interviews and we listen about what their vision and where they are going with their product and what they're challenging. So, and we found like there is big challenge in the Jordanian market, especially that Jordan, they are not allowed to export any dairy or any meat product to EU market because we don't have a national traceability solution. We have 5 food safety authorities and they do not talk to each other. And we use it. We go to the government. We told them we have 3 values and we want 3 actions from the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister at that time, he was very good. He's a professor, graduated from Harvard, Dr. Omar Razaz. We give him just one paper, have 3 values to the country, and we want 3 actions from your side. And we talk to the factories. All of you, they have a vision to access this market, but you don't know because of this problem. Now we have a way. If we implement this and if we go through this path and we have the government on board with us and the Chamber of Industry on board with us, and we want to work on this vision. We have this assumption, and once we did the quantified value proposition for them, we talked to the CFO. We told them we can give you value in reducing waste. We can give you value in reducing the audit cost and time, and we understand from him how much money it cost him, and we show them on Excel sheet within 3 years, if you use our technology, it's gonna cost you in this year this amount of money, and in the 3rd or the 5th year, this is where you will be. And the result, it was very good. Like one of the CEOs for one of the dairy factories, he offered us investment after he said, if you really can make this happen, I don't know that I have this amount of waste. How did you do all these calculations? And this is at the beginning for us, and this is the approach that we consider in the beginning. And because we understand what's their goals after 10 years, what's after 5 years, where they are going, what's their expansion plan, and we connect our goals with their goals. So we are speaking the same language, and this is how it was a very good entry for us to have them as an early adapter for the solution. And for the global market, now actually, we choose the Del Monte investment wisely. We used to have a lot of investment offer, and we negotiate with all of them until we found we want someone who can give us the money and who can create the market for us. We wasn't looking about someone who can give us the money, because the money, once you have a revenue, the money everywhere all over the world. So the key thing in Del Monte, it was there is something called International Fresh Produce Association, and these people, they are responsible in the US FDA about to create the regulation for the traceability. And the head of the traceability and the quality and the safety unit in the association is Del Monte. His name is Takashi, and he's the VP for the food safety and the quality in Del Monte. So that's why we found Del Monte is the key for the US FDA. And once the acquisition happened, now we became on the task force team for the US FDA, and we're building the regulation for the digital traceability. And by the end of 2023, you will not be able to export any product or produce a product in the US market until you have a digital traceability solution in a blockchain. And now Decapolis and IBM Food Trust, they are the 2 approved solutions for the US market. So the US market is very big, and anyone want to export to the US market, he need to use our solution. And also Del Monte, they will make it mandatory for all of their customers, all of their suppliers, to be able to supply like the seeds from Bayer or Syngenta, big companies, to Del Monte. You need to have a Decapolis solution. And we use the same approach in UAE, in Saudi Arabia, but we have a different model. We was very flexible. Like in Saudi Arabia, they prefer to have a Saudi solution with Saudi name. They told them, okay, forget about the Decapolis name. You can create your own Saudi name. You will have the solution, and we will have a revenue share model.
You see how open our panelists are to share their knowledge, their experience. Thank you so much, really.
Can I add one more thing here? Small one.
Yes, please.
I follow Abedalrhman since 2 years, and he is very generous for the one whom he worked with. I just would like him to share how you distribute your wealth with your enablers. Just small
Actually,
one.
you know, while listening to our panelists, a nice idea came to my mind. Maybe there should be a catalog of all those success stories by young entrepreneurs to be created, where like all the successful entrepreneurs, particularly, for example, participating here today, could share their success stories and maybe warn next generations of obstacles and problems they might face. Because really, I mean, it's really impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, our next panelist, bizim Azerbaycan növbəti.
The next speaker, the pride of Azerbaijan, entrepreneur from Azerbaijan, Zeynal Karimzadeh, founder of Epoint company and its CEO, executive director. Please, Zeynal, let us know about your experience. You may speak either English or Azerbaijani.
It's my gratitude to all organizers, especially for KOBIA, for invite all of us panelists to share our experience with our dear guests. Little bit about me. My name is Zeynal Karimzadeh. I'm a CEO and founder of Global Innovation Technology Company. And our core product is Epoint. Epoint is an e-commerce digital solution for SMB customers. And I would like to proceed my speech in Azerbaijani for dear guests in Azerbaijan. And I think that our translator will help me with translation. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, dear guests. My name is Zeynal Karimzadeh. I'm Global Innovations Company founder and CEO. Our company is Technological One, and for last year we managed to reach a very good records of Epoint. As a brief intro, I will speak when we started and what we reached. It should be a success story. I started a startup at 34 years after a long corporate career. I was taking corporate positions at the banks, and then I followed my activity in e-commerce. For 2 years, the company we have founded operated, and in November last year we issued Epoint project, and now we made it global. Just for information, last year at the same weight with the same participation we were seeking startup investors. Currently our market capitalization is $5 million. So this is the outcome of the long and hard story path. Why I specifically say it? Because here I see in the audience so many young entrepreneurs seeking to set startups. Startups can be set in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani startup may reach global arena. I would like to recall some historical facts. So in November last year, we issued certificate for startups by KOBIA, and for 3 years we are exempted from tax, income tax payment, and later we started to develop our product fastly, but also making sales. We've got very decent traction. And soon afterwards, in February, we managed to involve one of the top 3 commercial platforms in Azerbaijan, iTicket platform. I suppose everyone is a user of this platform domestically. Any events, any concerts arranged in Azerbaijan associated with a payment from us. If you would like to purchase something, you make a payment from us. Then we participated at Takeoff Startup Summit under Technofest Festival. We were ranked second among 52 companies. We were first from Azerbaijan. We raised the first round of investment in September. We participated at Asana Hub, Central Asia Forum, and qualified for the semifinals where we presented our comedy. And in November, some week ago, I got involved into the problem. I just came back from Georgia. There are top 3 acceleration centers. One of them is 500 Global Acceleration Center, which we call 500 Global. We became eligible to participate over there. That was first time in Azerbaijan history because the first Azerbaijani fintech entered Global Acceleration Center, and we are about to start mentoring program for 3 months and in January, and then there would be a venture fund in negotiations. Hopefully we will raise the second round of investment. Currently there are only 15 startups from the region enter this program, and only 3 of them are Azerbaijani and 1 of them is us. I specifically highlighted we have negotiations with venture funds. Azerbaijani startups grab attention from the venture foundations when it comes to technology, knowledge, human resources. We've got a decent base who work for the future, and we need to follow up. If anyone claims that it's very late to make a startup, or I was born in a wrong country, I sometimes hear a statement like that. When I started up at the 34 year, at the 40, when I was 34, I was a dad of 3 kids, and this startup is operating in Azerbaijan. It's regarded as a legal entity in Azerbaijan, and we managed to suggest our proposition for traction, and now we are entering Azerbaijan U.S. market for global scale. Hopefully we would be in position to reach the neighboring markets in the upcoming years. So I call to the entrepreneurs, be strong, follow your ideas, follow your pathway. It's not always about investment. You need to strengthen your communication skills, construe your network, and you join the network, and you have so strong feedback that you may gain millions, maybe. Thank you. Thank you, Zainal. Any questions? So please. As you see, your statement excited enormous interest. So please, this lady, please raise a question. Please take the mic to the 3rd row.
I'm greeting everyone, especially our guests from other countries. Welcome to Azerbaijan. I'm Elnura Jafarzada. I want to ask a question, not for just one speaker, to everyone. But beforehand, I want to say that I hope my question will be understandable, because it is very different, I think. But I want to ask, I want to share my ideas. During these 2 days, I have seen a lot of startups, okay? I understood what is startup. But unfortunately, I haven't seen anything which is connected with people's thoughts, ideas. Because I think everything is connected with the thoughts, ideas of people. People must understand, how can I go? How can I start these things? Yes, I agree. Yesterday especially, our speakers spoke a lot about motivation, about people's ways to achievement. But I think there must be a very special platform, very special startup which is connected people's ideas. Unfortunately, especially in Azerbaijan, it is refused from, I don't know the reason of this. I want to clarify my ideas. My idea is so, people, one person must understand, must catch his or her next day, what will happen. Because we are person and God gives us very specific, how can I say, feelings to understand our life. I don't know you understand my ideas or not. If you want, after this session, I will clarify my ideas in Azuri, but I hope in next years, in next panels, I have seen very different startups. If there isn't any startups for future, I really want to start this, because here people speak about, yes, how can I say, I understand money is important, we have to sell our things to others, to the world, we have to get for money, but for me, money is not elusive. Yes, money is something, but it's not a lot of things. We can sell, we can get money, it is okay, but I think we have to show the way to the people who cannot find their life. Here we are, for example, 50 people, yes, we are very successful, okay, but in the village, in the other part of the people need to achieve this success. I think everyone understand me.
Yes.
If there is such a startup in the world, please say me, because I want to do something with this type of startup. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. I will just respond briefly, because we're going to have, we might have a Q&A session, just a brief one after everybody will have their word. So, what is entrepreneurship? Who are entrepreneurs? I mean, we're all talking about entrepreneurs. What is this? It's not only about money. It's a matter of taking advantage of time and place. So that's the definition for entrepreneurship. And in the basis of that, as you said, stands the thought, the idea, and for example, I represent an agency, if we're talking about particularly about Azerbaijan, I represent an agency which tries to reach out to those people in regions, as you said, in villages, who don't have access to finance, who might have limited access to knowledge, to business literacy. This is our job to motivate these people so that they start doing that. As our friend Orhan Rzayev shared, a quote by Nelson Mandela, nothing is impossible, no, everything is impossible until it's done, I think. Yeah, that's the way it was. So we are helping people to do what they thinking of and to implement their ideas into life. But after, I wanted to give next word to our next guest, who has done a lot for Azerbaijani startup community. He represents Sabah.Lab. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Sabah.Lab. And Mr. Rahul Mello, is it, you can answer in, you can speak in, ya Azerbaycan dilinde, İngiliz dilinde cevap verebiliriz.
We can speak in Azeri and you can respond in English.
Stick to the time limit. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you to the organizers for organizing this event. I think I have two phases of my speech. One would be for the general public, and then I want to definitely address the youth we have in the back rows. Like Teymur Bey said, I am the CMO at Sabah.Lab. My education is I'm a medical doctor. I'm a pediatric cardiologist. That's what I used to do in my day job. But I then went on to I'm a co-founder of Push30 startup, a fitness app here in Azerbaijan, and co-founder of Landau Education Group, Landau Schools, perhaps some of you might have heard of that. But yes, today I wanted to talk briefly about what certain players can do in the startup ecosystem. So what is Sabah.Lab? Sabah.Lab is a project we started last year with a vision which was very, let's say, not vague, but open-ended. We understood that the ecosystem itself today in Azerbaijan is like a startup, where we have to do more learning. We have to fail fast, fail cheap, but then hopefully learn some things along the way. So that's what we've been doing for a year. We have about 35 startups in our pipeline today. We have about 18 startups which have received funding of about 25,000 manats, pre-seed funding from us. But then the way we had structured this going forward is we have 3 pillars. We believe for the ecosystem, our vision for the ecosystem today, after having done all of this learning, is understanding we've got 3 pillars that we want to focus on. One would be human capital building, or rather building human capital. So that's where we have our academy, where we want to talk about entrepreneurship mindset. That's what something Mr. Ayman was talking about earlier, about having academia being involved, right? Starting very early in the process. The other aspect of that would be infrastructure building. So that's where we have our Sabah incubation and Sabah.Lab, where we have incubation centers where people come in, talk about their ideas, brainstorm with no strings attached. And if something comes out of it, then that is taken to the acceleration program, the Sabah.Lab, where we have been working tirelessly for the past 1 year to grow startups, to mentor them, give them the skills they need to take from an idea stage all the way to an MVP, and then hopefully to launch. And then obviously getting funding. The last part of this, or the third pillar we're looking for, is funding, of course, because I think fundamentally for a startupper, they have to have a goal. They have to see that it's real, right? Having heroes like Zainal or Orhan, who I personally know, of course, is very important, right? I remember vividly when Orhan's picture came with Ronaldinho. That was huge hype, right? Let's be honest here. But then that gave a lot of motivation. That gave a lot of stimulus to people, right? However, that's one end of the spectrum. The other part is they need to see people getting money. They need to see people believing in them, in their startups. And the best way to do that is more than words, is by actions, right? And you want to do that with some sort of commitment, saying, listen, yo, I have no idea who you are, dude, but here's 25,000, here's 50,000. I think this might work, I have faith in you. That's faith itself sometimes is more valuable than the money that they put in. And that's something I've seen time and time again, right? But those are the kind of 3 pillars that I think are important, that are important to develop in our ecosystem. I think those are the 3 pillars in every ecosystem, to be honest.
İndi də mümkündürsə Azərbaycanca keçim.
Well, now I would like to proceed to Azerbaijani. I would like to speak to our friends. So look, here we can see our emerging entrepreneurs. I know that there would be a question. I would like to anticipate this question. I just personally, I'm Indian, but since I'm living from the childhood here and speaking Azeri, look. Personally, I'm a medical doctor. Then, when I was 21, I started my first business, and 99% said you're a kid, just first learn and then open your skill or your company. Why I specifically say that? You will experience the same. Here we wrote global entrepreneurship. But global entrepreneurship, we are sometimes scared when we hear this word. So that's not my cup of tea. Okay, Orhan was motivated that I will meet Ronaldinho, I will have a photo, and I will say, okay, cool. The same applies to this case. You will experience the same. However, the reality is like that. Without taking the first step, nothing would happen. So, for example, in my case, thank goodness we are still moving towards global entrepreneurship. We're
region side. Again, very simple, guys. This all seems very big. Çok böyle grandiose görsenir, çok böyle.
It looks very grandiose. It looks at the first sound very scary. However, the reality is like that. After taking the first step, you are supposed to take the second one, and in 3 months or in 1 year, you will see yourself in this stage. There is another guy who proved that it's feasible. Just after taking the first step, you will proceed to another one, and you will move forward, and you run up and reach this station. Then they say, oh, come on, oh, if only I knew that, if only people like you were in our network.
Derdim ki siz o biraz
I would like you would get rid of your fear, or just somehow control your fear and take the first step. Thank you. Thank you.
Ran out of time 11 minutes ago.
no worries.
So, yeah, but we started a little bit late, so thank you very much, çok sağ olun, for sharing knowledge, for sharing your experience. It's really important. I mean, actually, a lot of articles and books are written about how to become successful, how to become this and that and this and that. But the truth is, again, when you see people like you guys, you get a lot of motivation. And when you look at people, especially for Azerbaijani youth, when you see some people like successful entrepreneurs from Azerbaijan and who became global, who became successful, you realize that this is possible. And it's a very like strong motivation for all the youth present here. Thank you, dear distinguished guests. And one more question and we are finished. Please. Buyurun. Üçüncü sıraya zahmet olmasa mikrofon vererdiniz. Sağ ol.
So please, take the mic to the third row. Hello everyone, my name is Elnur Guliyev. Taking into account, given the bulk of the audience is Azeri speaking, my question would be in Azeri. My question is to the startups who managed to raise investment in Azerbaijan for the last 3 years. We've got abundance of mechanisms for supporting stand-up, and the state tries to support startups. But anyway, we've got financial resources for globalizing and reaching other markets, and we've got so many resources in Azerbaijan. Okay, there may be problems for the startups, but the question is, what are the concrete areas where startups make mistakes? What is a key challenge of the startups for outreaching the investors? How can they talk investors into allocating money, what they should do in order to convince investors to make investments? So please, Orhan, I would respond quickly. Elnur, nice to see you. I believe that it's not startups nor our investors who could be blamed, because yesterday we had a discussion around that issue with our friends. Let's take gaming sector in Azerbaijan. So far, we don't have billion worth startups in Azerbaijan. Investors somehow scared, and they believe that some investors act as a business as usual mode, and they ask to show one or two models, success stories, in order to allocate money. I believe that the fastest growth in Azerbaijan happens when 11 Kills or any other startup would have an exit to 500 million or 1 billion. Automatically, our ecosystem would change, and investors would be eager to make their investments. As 11 Kings team, we are really excited to get a global outcome for the short time, so that young and emerging entrepreneurs say, yes, I do that. If another person comes and say, I would like to have a gaming success, and you may indicate or make reference to 11 Kings, and the process would go automatically. So I do believe that we need to have this successful startups. Can be done. We need to somehow motivate our investors or start maybe motivated from perspective of vision, insight, and so on, so they would be more active. Thank you. Any other responses? It's very nice if I speak in Turkish. I will speak briefly. Actually, when we find challenges with entrepreneurs, I see two types of entrepreneurs. The first type is eagles, and the others are ducks. In our ecosystem, no matter how hard I motivate a duck, you are a perfect duck. You'll do it. You'll run it. Anyway, this company will remain a duck. Therefore, I forgot the name of this guy. For example, I just seen the eagle. We need to be a predator. We need to survive. We need to struggle. Just you've seen that an eagle may lift, elevate sheep in the mountains. Like in this case, investors would outreach you by their own. Thank you, Zainal. Would you like to react as well? Well, yes, please. Thank you. It's a say. If we're speaking about investors in Azerbaijan, the reality is you need to know your customers. You need to understand that you're a customer, and you need to take yourself in their footsteps. It's very basic. In Azerbaijan there is a mindset. I don't know how it's correct or not, but reality is in Azerbaijan, investors think about their return. What is your... actually, it's inherent to the entire globe. It's a general approach of an investor. Okay, if a person is mature, they seek for a 5-10 year plan or return. Since sector is emerging, our investors are more skeptic. But what it says Sabah. So, if you speak to Azerbaijan investor, you need to speak the same language. I'm not speaking as linguistically about Azerbaijanis. Okay, if you deposit in bank for 6%, it's okay. You may deposit it to us, and it's 20% chance. So I may grow your money this way and this way. At least we need to speak the same language. We need to come to the common denominator. Our startups should speak not globally, but in the way accepted in Azerbaijan, at least with our investors. Thank you. I would like to agree to what our colleague said. I've got a small addition. In my mindset, there are two models. Startups and investors, they have own business and own approaches. My recommendation to the startups is, before preparing any presentations or raising investment, they need to show measurable data. At least they need to have it. Market analytics, they need to know what is the volume of the market, just what are the KPI, just my daily expenses, all like that. In 1 year or just 6 months, I would raise my costs or expenditures to this level. Just, of course, it's a projection, but we need to have a measurable metrics at least. And the most progressive investors agree with these cases and provide a positive feedback. Maybe they do not raise the necessary amount, but they may allocate a portion of them money. Also, we've got acceleration programs in Azerbaijan. There are so many opportunities for suggesting your propositions. The matter is, the bulk of the startups do not want to be hardworking. They are not aspire to good preparatory works and they say, I got an explosive idea like that. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to have a home task to do your home task and then present it to the investors. And you need to have your value proposition. What is your value? Because you are expected to go global, so you are going to expand to work with neighboring markets. On the other side, let's speak about the investors. In Azerbaijan, there is money, there is enough money, and they are concentrated in the hands of entrepreneurs and investors, and we need to make them believe. For many years of their experiences, investors try to construct something or to invest with tangible assets or real estate or something like that, which may provide a short-time return. You need to make them believe. And as I stated, and as Orhan stated, we need to break these stereotypes omnipresent in Azerbaijan. At least in this panel session, there are 2 Azerbaijani-born startups, and their number would increase. The more exits, the more fundraising we have globally, the investor would speak, okay, deposit person at the bank is one person, but for 1 year I may make it 10-fold, 20-fold, or 30-fold. Yes, it's a risky investment, but the entire globe is taking this risk. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the rest of the forum. Thank you. Maybe all the panelists would like to take a collective picture here. Yeah?